So let's talk about this part and how we're going to stick it together. There are many different ways to do this, and they could all be perfectly fine, okay? So there's not one single right way to do this, and I would like to show you a few of them right now. But one of the things that I've said that I want to do in this course is I want to have a lot of repetition, and I want to keep it kind of simple, okay? So rather than talk about every single way right now with this little square block, I want to make another part. That's also going to give us a lot more experience making parts, because we just came out of part design course. I do not believe that probably anybody feels that they're an expert in part design right yet. So we need to practice that a little bit more, and it'll make the class, it'll sink it in a lot more. So let's look at this. If this was real life, you could almost consider it real life here. I want to stick two things together. Well, in my mind, I want to take this thing and I want to put it on that thing. So, okay, we can do that. That's a thing called a contact constraint. I want to stick it right to it, touch it, contact it. Now, if I look at this here, let's play around with this compass again here. Let's make this even worse. So I'll grab it right here and we'll give it a twist, okay? Just to make it extra crazy. So I'm going to add a constraint to this, but it's not going to probably do what you think, okay? So I'm going to go over here to Assembly, and right here, let's look at some icons here. We've got Engineering Connection, and we've got some other names down here, and some other stuff down here, right? But really, the main thing we want is this. And all of these are actually inside of that, okay? It's going to be a window. Here, I'll show you. See? It's a window. I also have this. Look at these guys right here. See these guys? Okay. I also have them. You might remember it from before. If I pick this, remember when I went for the compass? Well, there's one of them, contact. So if I go here and I pick Engineering Connection, what it's asking me to do in this window is saying, pick some things. Pick one of these and tell me which things you want to do that to. Okay, so in this case here, I'm going to say, okay, contact constraint. And then this window pops up, and it's going to be filled in by the two things that you want to contact. So I want this one and that one to touch, just like that. This is what I was talking about. Like, maybe you didn't expect this. But think about it. It did literally what you said. It touched face to face. It did not decide to make it match all the corners. That other program, Fusion 360, it has a thing about it that it tries to kind of guess and make life simple for you. And in the course of doing that very frequently, if you need to do something a bit more esoteric, it's near impossible. So here's the beginning of probably some understanding on how this is going to work. Remember that thing we looked at before, degrees of freedom? And it said that you had 6 degrees of freedom, you had 3 rotations and 3 translations. Okay. Well, we've just locked down one of those. We made it contact. So now it can't go up and down any longer because it's touching this thing. So let's do some more. So how else would I stick this then? If you looked at this and you go, ooh, geez, what else can I do? Well, the way I'm going to show you now is what if we took this face right here, and maybe we could make it align with this one, like parallel, sort of, you see? So if I go over here, I have this one. Here, let's click, there you go. Adds an offset constraint. Okay, so an offset is 2 flat faces, or lines, you can think of it that way too. It's a distance constraint from line to line in Sketcher. They have to be parallel for this to work. So watch, if I pick this and I say that face and that face, it's going to align them, you see? The offset tool has this thing here. I'll show you, 10. I'll click in a different field. What it did is it made the 2 faces parallel, and it gave it an offset of 0. So you've got 2 things, at least, that you could do with offset. It's paralleling them, and then it's setting them so far apart. But if I want them to be lined up, kind of like a contact, right? This face is touching that face, except this face, we don't actually want it to touch it. We want it to be in line with it. Make this 0. So you hit 0 there. And then if I just click in a different field, then it'll move on over. You see? So good, good, good. So we're getting it sorted out, but you see how it takes a few of these constraint operations to get this stuck where it's supposed to be. So where else could it move? Obviously, it could move side to side. It can't necessarily move up and down. We can't make it twist any longer because we're stuck to that face. So we need to do another offset, and we're going to pick this one here to that one there. And it's 15.33, so we just change that to 0. Go into a different field. And then it's all locked up, okay? So now I can hit OK. And you're going to get these errors right here. Let's not talk about this yet, okay? Just say yes, right? And it'll be okay. So there's our block. So our block is all lined up together. So I'm going to do this again, and I'm going to do it a different way. So that'll be in the next video. Before I go, though, I would like to add one little piece to this. If I were to put my compass on here and grab it, it should not move because it's stuck, okay? Oopsie, but it does. It does move. Why is that? Well, a thing that we need to know, thing that we need to learn about is that the green thing could be very completely locked to the yellow thing. However, neither of the two are locked in space. So even though I have the green stuck to the yellow, I'm moving the whole product all around. So the last thing I want to show you is if I click on the yellow, that anchor right there, that's fix. So if I click this, I'm fixing the base in our world here now. So then you can't necessarily move it around any longer, okay? Won't go, all right? And then lastly, I could come over here now, and I could look for my degrees of freedom. There are no degrees of freedom for top. And that's what we want, okay? Unfortunately, you don't get a color, you don't get a little award or anything to say that you're fully constrained in this respect. You have to know that that degrees of freedom is there, and you have to check it.